All right. We'll call this meeting to order. Mr. Bazar? Here. Mr. Cabral?
Here.
Mrs. Conforti?
Here.
Mrs. Hurst?
Here.
And Mr. Reeves is here. Any member of the audience desiring to comment on a closed session item may do so when the board president asks for public comments. Please step to the podium and state your name. It would be appreciated if you would limit your comments to 3 minutes. Per board policy BB 9323, individual speakers may be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board may limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation, depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. President may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something to add. As permitted by law, the board trustees may request to meet in closed session for consideration of personal matters possible or pending litigation, employee grievance, student discipline, and the accusation of sites. Is there anybody to approach the board? Nope. Okay. We will adjourn and go to closed. Okay, we're back into regular session. Can we please stand for the flag salute?
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. This meeting is being conducted by Zoom teleconference at the following location: McLeod Ranger Station, 2019 Forest Road, McLeod, California, for President Don Cabral. Mr. Cabral, are you able to hear us?
Yes, sir, I can.
Do you have a copy of the agenda?
I do.
Has the agenda been posted at your location?
It's right here on the table next to me.
Is your location such that any member of the public could participate in the public portions of this teleconference meeting from your location?
Yes.
Members of the board, can you hear Mr. Cabral?
Yes.
Because we're having a meeting with teleconferencing, all actions will be done by roll call vote. So we'll report out of closed session. Fact finding hearing conducted by the administrative review in case number 24-25-01. Motion by board member Mrs. Conforti and seconded by board member Mrs. Hurst. It is moved that the Board of Education find that there is cause to expel student number 21906 from all schools in the district for a violation of Education Code EC 48915E. Student number 21906 shall be expelled from the schools of the district for the remainder of the fall and spring semester of the 2024-2025 school year. Student number 21906 will be allowed to apply for enrollment in Newman Crows Landing Unified School District at the beginning of the fall semester of the 2025-2026 school year of a 5-0 vote. Public communications. Any person wishing to comment on the agenda and non-agenda items may do so. Please step to the podium and state your name. It would be appreciated if you would limit your comments to 3 minutes. California law prohibits the school board from taking action out of any matter which is not on the posted agenda unless it is determined to be an emergency by the board. Per board policy BB 9323, individual speakers may be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda items. The board may limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask the additional person speak only if they have something new to add. And we do have a speaker, Chris and Sheila. Oh, you can go to the podium, please. One more. Okay.
Hi, this is my mom, Sheila. We both wanted to be here to express our appreciation for the aquatic center and the adult program. It comes up from 6 to
wonderful.
8. We're have our suits in the car. We're gonna be late for this
We have
session
our
today.
food on.
But we love that.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yes,
It
we're
was
so
like-
lucky.
Such a surprise at how beautiful it is.
Yes.
And I recommend it to everybody.
We'll tell them how it affected you, how.
Well,
it would
I
benefit.
am a cancer survivor and I wasn't doing real well getting around. And I started going there and I've taught myself how to swim and dive. And before my legs didn't work right. And I've really come a long way.
Yeah,
And I am so excited about this.
yes.
I just wonder how long you're gonna leave it open this fall.
Yeah. We go all winter. We don't,
Oh,
it's-
yeah, well, that's cool.
It's wonderful. And I was on my way to having, what do you call it? Knee replacements. I
You have
like the
those too?
first, water aerobics I just can't speak
Yeah.
highly enough.
And the people who run it,
Yes,
they're a joy.
yes. Coral and our lifeguards, they're
Yeah.
so professional. It's just wonderful.
I feel like we've won the lotto.
We
or
did,
something.
we did. Our
And
town did.
We want to share it with everybody.
Yeah, it's,
But, oh, thank you. thank
yeah,
you,
yeah,
thank you.
so.
Thank you. We have another speaker, Mrs. Carrie Thompson.
Hello, my name is Carrie Thompson. I'm joined by my daughter, Kat Thompson. And we are also here tonight to thank you for your generosity to allow the community access to the pool for the adult lap swim. The team, Coral and Matt, are amazing. The lifeguards are obviously well-trained. They seem to be doing their job. They're not just chatting with people, they're focusing on the water, but thank you so much. And a bunch of us, we talk about how we would love to see it year round or as long as possible. It's such a delight. So I've seen you guys walking up into the pool usually when we get done. So thank you again. We're just here to tell you.
Thank you. Approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion? Can I get a second? Mr. Bizarre,
Aye.
Mr. Cabral,
Aye.
Mrs. Conforti,
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst, and Mr. Rivas votes aye. 5-0. Information, attendance award. Dr. Seha.
Good evening, Mr. Rivas, members of the board, Superintendent Pruitt. So it gives me great honor to announce these attendance award recipients or the schools for this month. We'll start off with the staff attendance award with 95.92% attendance. They beat out the other school by percentage points, so very good. I mean, not tenth of a point there. So it goes to Barrington. Okay, next up is our most improved attendance award, and that goes to Bonita. And at 93.7.3 attendance for the month of September, YOLO Middle School. And they have the highest attendance rate for the district. Thank you.
Thank you. Our student representative report.
Hello, everybody. I hope everyone's having a good day. So, we finally are getting close to wrapping up our first quarter, and students' grades will be distributed the following week. We wrapped up homecoming week, which was around 2 weeks ago, in which we held dress-up days, the homecoming game, float building, and to end it off, the homecoming dance. The dress-up days were Monday, PJ Day, Tuesday, Bring a Stuffed Animal to School Day, Wednesday, Dynamic Duo, and Thursday, Dig Pink. Friday was Spirit Away, which was support our colors, purple and gold. For float building, each class got an opportunity to create and work on making floats that were presented and judged both at the homecoming parade and the football game. The junior class placed first for Super Mario Bros. Second place was seniors with Minions. Third place went to freshmen with Spider-Man, and last place was sophomore with Inside Out. As for the game itself, we went against Ripon and won with the score being 10-8. We also got to see the beautiful and creative halftime show from our cheerleaders who got dressed up as their class themes. As for the Dig Pink volleyball game, the girls went against Augustine. Varsity did win, however, JV lost. Also at the game, they passed out linguiça for the people who bought tickets for the meals. On to upcoming events, this coming Tuesday, rehearsals for musical theater will begin, and the school district musical program will be holding production for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. As for sports, we have senior Patricio Keenery and sophomore Samantha De La Cruz, who broke the 5K school record in cross country. Patricio completed the 3.1 miles in 15:52 minutes, and Samantha finished 20 minutes and 46 seconds. As for girls soccer, their conditioning has begun, and tryouts will begin sometime in October to November, which is the same for boys basketball practices that have also begun. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Item C, Project Life, Mrs. Davidson.
Doing it. Okay. Okay, hello. I'm Rhiannon Davison. I work at Orston High School. We have started what is called the Project Life program this year. It is designed to assist students at OHS that are differently abled and benefit from extra help to navigate through life. The program is for 9th grade and it goes all the way through the adult program, which is 22 years old, and gives hands-on development for life skills and employment skills. There are 3 domains of work, home, and community. When each subject is covered, for instance, safety, each of the domains will be addressed. When we talk about safety, talks about kitchen safety at home, community safety about strangers, and then work safety signs and what those are. By going over each topic in all 3 domains, it helps the students assimilate and generalize all of the information for their everyday life. There are 8 units of learning. 7 of them are the top 7. You can read them yourself. There is an 8th one on the bottom, which is micro enterprise fundamentals. And that unit helps them start a business, which we do have going at the high school. There's 3 ways of learning. You can see kind of in the pictures. There's the typical lecture and classwork that goes with it. Secondly, there's a hands-on, which is where they actually do the cooking, the cleaning, the laundry. They're doing the skills with their hands. And then there's the community practice, which is like our field trips. They go to places, they order food, they go do shopping from a list. They visit various places of possible employment and careers where they could be working. And then lastly, they are learning through work. This is something that's brand new this year, except for the coffee. One of the best portions of this program is the learning through work portion. The long-term goal is for students to work off campus for 2 hours within their community. This is a pilot year, so we're currently working within the school campus this year. All of the students are participating in at least 50 minutes of employment tasks every day. They run a business called the Java Warriors, where we sell and make coffee and tea for the teachers that order. And the current jobs that we're doing on site, we're doing inventorying, stocking. They're making lunch bags for lunchtime. They are cleaning the cafeteria, and they currently just started today going into the robotics area, and they're sorting and organizing all of the robots taking them apart and that kind of stuff. So, and that's it. And these are some of my beautiful, wonderful students.
Thank you. Ethics Studies Introduction, Mrs. Chance, come on up. And Mr. Flores, sorry.
Hi, good evening. My name is Miss Chance. I'm sorry, I felt like I'm in my classroom. Renee Chance Dominguez. And then I've been working at Orem High School and in this district for about 13 years. My first year I was at YOLO, and since then I've been at Orem teaching in the social science department. And currently I'm teaching US history and AP US history. Do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Pablo Flores. This is my 9th year at Orem. I teach World Civ and U.S. History, and at this point, I am going to be the Ethnic Studies teacher.
All right, so we are here to introduce a course called Ethnic Studies. It's going to start next fall, and we're really excited about it. Our current team is myself, Pablo Flores, and then Harold Peoples. He couldn't be here today. But we have, as a team, we've spent over 100 hours working on this curriculum already. And we got such a great jump start on this that when we go to countywide, we do a lot of things with San Joaquin County and Stanislaus County. And at the meetings that we were at last year, we were actually able to share a lot of our progress already. A lot of schools hadn't been as far along as we are, and so we were able to share a lot of resources with them. So we have put in a lot of labor and a lot of time, and we're still working on this. And just so everybody knows where this is coming from, so the state of California passed AB 101 in 2021, and this mandates that all high school graduates starting with the class of 2029, they have to take ethnic studies as a requirement for graduation. So that's where this is coming from. And our implementation plan is going to land on freshmen. It's going to be a semester-long course. So right now, freshmen in our department take Success 101 for a whole year. That'll get shortened to a semester, and both of our Success 101 teachers said that is more than enough time to get through curriculum, so students are not going to miss out. And they'll take ethnic studies for the second semester. And like Mr. Flores said, he's going to be the instructor. So we're excited about that as well. Just so everybody knows kind of the history of where ethnic studies came from. One of my favorite things that we talked about at a training is how ethnic studies is capital E, capital S. So it's an actual discipline. Kids can go to college and major in ethnic studies. And so this is something that came out of the civil rights era. There were a lot of students in our awesome state of California over the hill that were promoting and protesting so that their voice and their history would be reflected through their curriculum in college. And so San Francisco State was actually the first to offer ethnic studies in '69. And then UCLA conducted a study in 1993 saying that over 700 universities had pathways in ethnic studies. So this isn't something that's new, but it is new in AB 101 for high school students to take as a requirement for graduation. Okay, so when we talk about ethnic studies, capital E, capital S, there are four specific disciplines that students will learn about. They're pictured up on the screen. The first unit is going to be an introductory to ethnic studies, and then we'll dive into Indigenous studies, Black American studies, Chicano and Latino studies, and then finally our last unit is going to be Asian American and Pacific Islander. There is a lot of text on the screen, and I apologize, but I wanted to specifically show you where the heart behind this class is. This comes from the state. So the state made a model curriculum, and this comes directly from there. And so on the left-hand side, you see the purpose of the content knowledge. Why does this class exist? And so as you can see there, this is what it's supposed to be if you want to follow along with me. Focus on the experiences of these four disciplines, the four I just mentioned on the last slide, and provide an opportunity for students to learn of the histories, cultures, struggles, and contributions to American society of these historically marginalized peoples, which have often been untold in U.S. history courses. And the tools, so it is content knowledge. That is a huge part of this. Yes, students are going to actually learn about those things, but at the same time, students are also going to be given some tools in order to be part of our awesome democratic society. So if you follow along on the right-hand side, this is the other heart behind this course. Equip students with the tools to promote understanding as community members in a changing democratic society, to contribute to the public good and help strengthen our democratic institutions. So it is a heart behind this class, both content knowledge and tools. And the other thing that I am super excited to share is that the state also designed this course to be designed for local communities. So that means that we get to talk to students about why Stanislaus County is named Stanislaus County and who it's named after. It means that we get to talk about the Yokuts who lived on this particular land. We get to actually talk about how Newman came to be. We get to talk about the players of Newman and how Newman Crow's Landing came to be. So in that, we get to really personalize it. And we have the flexibility to adapt the curriculum to our students. So that's why we put in over 100 hours of time, is simply because we're building this from scratch so that it reflects Newman, Crow's Landing, and our wider community, so students are able to see themselves reflected in that. So I have a big ask of all of you and the community as well. In presentations that I've given and I'll continue to give with our team, I'm asking that, if interested, if you want to share a story with us that we're going to add to a community anthology of people's stories in Newman. And so there are QR codes up on the screen. I also have some papers that I'll leave at by the front door that just give some instructions for how to share your story. But you can talk about, it'll look like this, but you can share about, if you're a grad from Orsimba, you can talk about stories from Orsimba, your time there. You can talk about if you specifically have a family member whose story you want to share, you can. They can be a couple sentences. It could take up 5 pages. It is up to you on how you want to share. And if you feel like your story doesn't fit in those 4 domains that I talked about, it's okay. The heart behind this class is to reflect this community. So we definitely want to make sure that we have that reflected in stories that we have available for students. The last thing that I just want to share is that Christine Slater, she is kind of the queen of research about ethnic studies. She does a lot of longitudinal and latitudinal studies about schools that implement ethnic studies. And she has found overwhelmingly that rather than being divisive, ethnic studies courses actually help bridge differences that exist, and they benefit all students. So I just want to make sure to emphasize that this class is for all students. It's going to bring communities together, and it's designed to benefit all students as well. Thank you for your time.
Go ahead, bro.
Yes.
I didn't know protocol. I would have stayed.
I just wanted to thank the 3 of you, including Mr. Peoples, for spending that much time investing in this. And since I taught ethnic studies, I will tell you that it is worthwhile. Okay, so enjoy.
Awesome.
And I know your students will.
Thank you.
Okay.
I would like to thank our district for allowing us so many hours. Their teachers or whoever's doing their curriculum that much time to work on it. We've had plenty of time provided by the district to do that, and I think that's going to benefit everybody.
That's great. Thank you.
Anybody else? Good. Item E, first reading of AR and BP 5148.2 before and after school programs.
Main difference, sorry, my microphone. The main difference in her new proposal is we have a lot of students that come in for 10 minutes and then they're gone, and we have to hire staff for the full amount of hours until 6 p.m. to cover that one student. And then we end up with students on a waiting list that really need the program. So priority is going to be given to those students that stay for at least a half of the time each day. So that's the biggest change that's coming. And this is the first reading of the policy. So so it'll come back in November for the second reading and to have a possible vote on it. So if anybody in the community wishes to voice a concern on this, they have that opportunity to do that as well. But this is the first reading.
Okay, thank you. Consent calendar. The consent calendar items are routine in nature and usually do not require board discussion. Individual items may be removed by the board members and presented for discussion and separate action. The consent calendar will be adopted by roll call vote. Can I get a motion for the consent calendar?
I'll make the motion, Frank, that we approve the consent calendar as listed.
I'll second.
Thank you. Mr. Bizarre,
Aye.
Mr. Cabral,
Aye.
Mrs. Conforti,
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst,
Aye.
and I vote aye as well. Action items. A, accept Williams Settlement Uniform Complaint Report for July, August, and September of 2024. Nobody's right. No.
He already did. Okay.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
So moved. I second.
Thank you. Mr. Bizarre,
Aye.
Mr. Cabral,
Aye.
Mrs. Conforti,
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst,
Aye.
and I vote aye as well. 5-0. B, approve resolution number 24-25-04, resolution supporting Measure A for the West Side Community Health Care District. And Mr. Bizarre would like to speak on this topic.
Yes, I would. I'm gonna obviously urge approval of the resolution in favor of Measure A. But I wanted to sort of go over some personal experience that I've had. About 3 weeks ago, a member of my family here in town suffered a stroke. This brought back to me immediately the necessity for having a local ambulance service. During the night, this person had suffered a stroke, they'd fallen, they couldn't get to their phone. They had an Apple Watch on their arm, but unfortunately that was the side of them that was paralyzed. And in the dark, they couldn't see to operate it. We had thought, and this is sort of aside, but we thought that that would serve the sort of as a safety measure. Didn't turn out to be that way. So anyway, in the morning, when my daughter and I went to check on the person, we found them on the floor, clearly having had some kind of major misfortune. Something was wrong. And I called 911. I just would like to tell you that the ambulance was there along with the fire department almost immediately. They quickly saw that the situation was grave, that this person was having problems talking, that they couldn't move, and put her in the ambulance, rushed her to Modesto, where she had surgery, and she's now in a rehab hospital, and she's making progress in recovery. But it just brought home to me that, you know, it's so important when you dial 911 to have a quick response. Every second just seems like it goes on and on. You're just waiting. You know, you've called 911, they say, hold on, stay on the phone, someone's on the way. But when that ambulance pulls up, you feel such a feeling of relief. And they came in, they were super professional, handled the situation. And we live here on the west side, a considerable distance away from, you know, the hospitals. The main hospitals are not in our town. If you go online, you can sort of read the history of our West Side Hospital District. It started, I think, in 1937. I didn't put my glasses on, so I'm not going to bore you with the history of it. But it was originally set up so that we did have medical care in this community. Over the years, it's just been too expensive to continue to have each community have a hospital. That just doesn't work anymore. And so at this point, the main thing the district does is fund the ambulance service. It's a $69 a year cost that would go against each parcel. That's about a little less than $6 a month for each, not each individual in the town, but each parcel, piece of real estate. But again, I'll just tell you, it is so important when you make that call to know that there's somebody in the community that'll come. The fire department does a good job too. I'm not here saying one's better than the other or anything like that. I'm just telling you that it is so important to have an ambulance service that can rush you to the hospital. I'll just close by saying that 5 years ago, strangely enough, I also suffered a stroke. It was a relatively minor stroke. I'm here today, but even for that experience 5 years ago, when it was relatively minor, when you call, and it was my mother-in-law who called 911 at that time. And they are there and they pick you up and put you in the back of that vehicle, you're reassured. You know that, you know, somebody's gonna help you. And that's, again, almost priceless. I can tell you at that moment, you're not worrying about $69 or $6 or anything like that. I know, you know, nobody wants to pay extra fees or extra money, but at least from my point of view, I would urge everybody to, you know, to support this. It's important. Anyway, that's my comments. Thanks.
Thank you. Can I get a motion?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a motion. Of the measure.
Can I get a second?
I'm going to second it, but I want to put a caveat to it. If you live in Diablo Grande, you are not covered by this. We have Patterson, and we really need to have something like that happen for us also. So I'm hoping that sometime soon we can get something up north, but the west side is very, very far behind any kind of medical. A long trip to Modesto.
You don't go to Modesto. President Cabral, I'm gonna third it because you went in that ambulance on that ride. And it's a long way to Turlock, to Emmanuel, because that's where cardiacs go. Okay?
Mr. Bizarre?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral?
Aye.
Mrs. Conforti? Mrs. Hurst?
I,
And I vote aye as well, 5-0. Number 10, future agenda items.
Have Hunt Elementary for next school spotlight next month for November. Looking forward to that.
Superintendent report?
Yeah, I have a few. I received a bunch of texts last night about the Modesto Bee article. And if I kind of quickly, there was a group that basically ranks schools, and they focus on factors including academics, diversity, teacher quality, and college readiness. And through that, they rank elementaries, middle schools, and high schools. And in our county, I think we counted about 25 regular or high schools, plus some charter schools, private schools. So it ends up being close to 30 or so high schools in Stanislaus County. And they ranked Orriston as number 8 in the county. So they have a lot to be proud of. So great job, Orriston. It's always nice when you have an outside entity that has no reason to rank you or not rank you, and they recognize the work that you're doing. So congratulations. Over the weekend, I was able to attend an FFA car show and pumpkin patch, and it was pretty exciting to see, again, some of the old timers that have graduated from Orriston bringing back their old cars, and some of their friends that may not have graduated from Orriston. But it was a fun day. It was a fun afternoon, and watching the kids go through and pick pumpkins and come up with that. So it was a great time. So again, congratulations to our FFA program. They put on an excellent event that day. One other item that tends to, anytime we talk about the pool, and those ladies were awesome on how they described what the pool has done for them, and hopefully what our pool can continue to do for our community. But they'll talk to me about it, and then they follow up. But I heard it's not regulation. And for some reason, that rumor is out there, and I want to guarantee you the pool is regulation. It is, we can have a competition on it tonight. Maybe those ladies would be willing to compete, but it is regulation, always has been. And we have Matt to make sure that our architect makes sure that it is regulation size. So it is, we can compete in the Olympics if we needed to. So it is absolutely regulation size for all the events that we would want to hold, and it's a beautiful facility, like those ladies said. One of the other things that recently happened, and I know that you mentioned this, we had our Dig Pink event, and they've been doing that event for 15 years now. Vicky Felber, Carly Felber, and Angie Makovich. They have been putting this on, and they make anywhere, they've made as little as 7,000 one year and all the way up over 20,000 another year. So on average, they probably averaged $10,000 a year over 15 years. They've raised $150,000 through our communities for cancer awareness, for breast cancer awareness and the cure. So pretty proud of our community and what we can do when we all decide to kind of come together and do something. And, you know, we set aside the rivalry with Gus Deneen and we welcome them. They enjoy coming. The girls get new pink uniforms for those matches. And so it's just a great time, a fun event. The middle school's involved, the high school's involved. And again, it's just a great program. And when our small community can raise over $150,000, even though it took 15 years to get there, I think they're at 13,000 right now for this year and still counting. So we're not sure exactly where the final number will be, but it will be more than 13,000 for this year. So there's plenty of things happening that we can be just so proud of our community and how we respond. So pretty exciting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pruitt. Board reports, Mr. Bizarre.
Well, I'm going to add a couple comments about the pool and the measurement of the pool. My wife told me, don't say this, but I only have one more meeting after this. And that is that recently my mother-in-law came to me and said, hey, somebody in the community told me that pool's not regulation. It's not the right length or size or something. And here's my response to that. It is, as we've heard over and over again, it is. But I said, why would somebody say that? I mean, it sounds like maybe the board didn't do their job, you know, and we made a bad idea, you know, bad pool. But as I said to my mother-in-law, well, it isn't really the board's job to go out there with a ruler and measure the pool. It wouldn't be any of our jobs. It wouldn't really be the superintendent's job. It wouldn't really even be Matt's job. I don't think. It's the architect who designed it and then the people who built it. It's like saying, you know, I heard that this Bob McConnell Center is 1 inch off in length. Well, it might be. I don't know. I'm not going to measure it. So anyway, it isn't. Everybody, the pool's the right size, but it's just one of these rumors that's like, you can't, I don't know what to say. I don't know why we say that or we're worried about it or any of that, you know. And if I'm wrong, well, I'm off the board in a month. So, you know, you can come back and tell me, hey, idiot, you didn't measure it right. Anyway, that's my comment tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Bizarre. Mrs. Hurst.
Okay, after that one. Every time I go to the high school, I have to not kind of like turn around where I'm at and go out, which I could do. I have to go the long way so I can drive by the pool and look at its beauty, and then drive by the tennis courts and look at their beauty and then drive out. Okay, so I'm enjoying just looking at it until I can get into it. So this year I was not able to go to Dig Pink. I work at the church and pastor had an emergency that I had to go and help him with. And so I wasn't able to go to Dig Pink. And I got home that night. And normally I get this gorgeous corsage to wear. And I got home that night and Bill said, you had a visitor. And I said, I did. And he said, yes, you did. Van Felber came. And he came with the most gorgeous bouquet of flowers that I've ever seen. Pink roses and carnations and I can't remember the third kind, but anyway. No, I'll show you later. Anyway, but I came home to that and it was so neat. It was so great. And as a 10-year survivor now, yes, as a 10-year survivor now, every year I appreciate that. So even when I'm not on the board, I'm going to be going and watching our girls win. So that's about all I have to say.
Thank you. Mr. Cabral, do you have anything?
Yeah, a couple things tonight. Once again, thanks for Frank, Mr. Rivas stepping up and running the meeting. You look pretty good in my chair from a couple hundred miles away. And then second, next month is election, so please get out and vote. This is your one opportunity to, make your voice heard. There's a lot of local measures and local candidates, including a couple members of the our school board that are on there. So get some information for that. And then as well as in regards to the use of the pool year round, we will be having a discussion about, if we can do that, or, if maybe we could extend it a little longer. But that is a great idea to possibly explore and feasibly do if we can, if all possible. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. Mrs. Conforti?
I always forget to turn these on. I recently attended the candidates forum. It was really interesting. I got to see all of the candidates, but one, they answered questions why they wanted to be on the board, what were their qualifications, what did they want for our students. I was disappointed because the one that I wanted to see the most is the one is from the area that I'm from, Diablo Grande, so I wasn't able to see that candidate. But being a candidate and working on the board, it may not be as glamorous as we think sometimes, but it is so fulfilling, especially when you see students. And after we've been on the board 18 years, and Tim, you've been on what, 13? 13. We've got a lot of years. And if at any time the new candidates need a question answered about board, we're welcome to do it for the most part. Of course, I'm offering something for them, but it's a rewarding position. It's not all, it's a lot of heartache. It's a lot of planning, like the pool, which we worked very hard to do. Doing, new school. I was here when we built Barrington. That was one of the things I ran for. And then also finishing this. And you have a beautiful school district. You have such a familial district where your students are not numbers. They're people, and your teachers really appreciate them and try to do the best they can. So be easy on the new school board members, and take the two old ones and just treat them nicely. Have a good day. Happy Halloween. Be safe.
I got a couple of things. Like to applaud Orstemba for the nice art in the hallway in there. Looks really good. Oh yeah. The funny thing about the pool is I practice for my 9 and 10-year-old and pretty much all Newman students at Bateri. And it's about 7:30. I'm done, and all you hear is water. And I end up talking to Carl, and you don't hear anything, but you just hear swimming. So I'm like, I can get used to this. Well, it's a work in progress. We're hoping to get kids in there to swim, but I kind of like the quietness with the adults, not making splashes, screaming, everything. But it's great seeing what is it, about 15 to 20 students, there. So it's nice to see. The pool looks great. The lights look great. It looks great. I want to applaud everyone in here, from the admin to every school district, or not every school district, but every school. I know we had nationwide emergency, and I thought it was handled correctly and firmly. I know it was chaotic and everybody was like, oh no, what's going on? But I thought everyone came together and it was great. So I want to applaud everybody in here. Good job. And like Mr. Cabral said, and everybody said up here, elections are coming up. Okay. It's not about just the school board. The measures are also president too. Let's get out there and you got to vote. Okay. There is one thing that hopefully it can be discussed. I don't know. It's called kids or DARE or canine detection. I would like to see bring back for the schools. I know when I was in school back in 2000 years ago, we had that. So we would, dog come out, sniff our backpack. If it gets alert, go to the office. That's something I would like to see bring back. If it's possible, that'd be great to see. Great to have. Other than that, that's it. That's all I have for tonight. I'll see you guys November 14th. Thank you, Mr. Cabral, for zooming in too.
You're welcome.
I can barely see him. Yep, meeting's adjourned.